Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An unsuccessful ending to a struggle or contest. It was a narrow defeat. The feeling that accompanies an experience of being thwarted in attaining your goals. Win a victory over. Defeat your enemies. Thwart the passage of. An unsuccessful ending to a struggle or contest. They suffered a convincing licking. The act of inflicting corporal punishment with repeated blows. An act of hindering someone's plans or efforts. The feeling that accompanies an experience of being thwarted in attaining your goals. A feeling of annoyance at being hindered or criticized. Her constant complaints were the main source of his frustration. Win a victory over. Get on top of. Deal with successfully. Overcome, as with emotions or perceptual stimuli. Overcome, usually through no fault or weakness of the person that is overcome. Win a victory over. You must overcome all difficulties. Mark for deletion, rub off, or erase. Kill these lines in the president's speech. End or extinguish by forceful means. Thwart the passage of. Kill emotion. Drink down entirely. She killed a bottle of brandy that night. The act of terminating a life. Be fatal. Cigarettes kill. Be the source of great pain for. These new shoes are killing me. Cause the death of, without intention. She was killed in the collision of 3 cars. Cause to cease operating. Kill the engine. Cause to die. Put to death, usually intentionally or knowingly. This man killed several people when he tried to rob a bank. Deprive of life. AIDS has killed thousands in Africa. Destroy a vitally essential quality of or in. Eating artichokes kills the taste of all other foods. Hit with great force. He killed the ball. Hit with so much force as to make a return impossible, in racket games. She killed the ball. Overwhelm with hilarity, pleasure, or admiration. The comedian was so funny, he was killing me. The body of an animal, or bodies of animals, killed by a person or another animal. The destruction of an enemy plane or ship or tank or missile. The pilot reported 2 kills during the mission. Tire out completely. The daily stress of her work is killing her. Move quickly and violently. Thwart the passage of. Shoot at and force to come down. Vote against. Thwart the passage of. Thwart the passage of. Event whose occurrence ends something. His death marked the ending of an era. The end of a word, a suffix or inflectional ending or final morpheme. I don't like words that have ism as an ending. The act of ending something. The last section of a communication. The point in time at which something ends. The ending of warranty period. A person with a record of failing. Someone who loses consistently. Inability to discharge all your debts as they come due. Fraudulent loans led to the failure of many banks. An act that fails. His failure to pass the test. An event that does not accomplish its intended purpose. The surprise party was a complete failure. An unexpected omission. He resented my failure to return his call. Lack of success. He felt that his entire life had been a failure. Loss of ability to function normally. Kidney failure. A decorative texture or appearance of a surface, or the substance that gives it that appearance. The boat had a metallic finish. Event whose occurrence ends something. When these final episodes are broadcast, it will be the finish of the show. Finish eating all the food on one's plate or on the table. Finally be or do something. The temporal end, the concluding time. The market was up at the finish. A highly developed state of perfection, having a flawless or impeccable quality. Almost an inspiration which gives to all work that finish which is almost art. Have an end, in a temporal, spatial, or quantitative sense, either spatial or metaphorical. The act of finishing. His best finish in a major tournament was third. Come or bring to a finish or an end. He finished the dishes. The place designated as the end, as of a race or journey. A crowd assembled at the finish. Cause to finish a relationship with somebody. That finished me with Mary. Designated event that concludes a contest, especially a race. Excitement grew as the finish neared. Provide with a finish. The carpenter finished the table beautifully. The downfall of someone, as of persons on one side of a conflict. Booze will be the finish of him. Wine tasting. The taste of a wine on the back of the tongue, as it is swallowed. The wine has a nutty flavor and a pleasant finish. Event whose occurrence ends something. The proposition arrived at by logical reasoning, such as the proposition that must follow from the major and minor premises of a syllogism. The act of making up your mind about something. He drew his conclusions quickly. A position or opinion or judgment reached after consideration. His conclusion took the evidence into account. The act of ending something. The last section of a communication. In conclusion, I want to say. The temporal end, the concluding time. A final settlement. The conclusion of a business deal. An intuitive assumption. Jump to a conclusion. A feeling of dissatisfaction that results when your expectations are not realized. His hopes were so high he was doomed to disappointment. An act, or failure to act, that disappoints someone. A feeling of dissatisfaction that results when your expectations are not realized. Designed or tending to discredit, especially without positive or helpful suggestions. Negative criticism. Not indicating the presence of microorganisms or disease or a specific condition. The HIV test was negative. Involving disadvantage or harm. Minus, or negative, factors. Vote against. Refuse to endorse. Refuse to assent. Having a negative charge. Electrons are negative. A piece of photographic film showing an image with light and shade or colors reversed. A reply of denial. He answered in the negative. Characterized by or displaying negation or denial or opposition or resistance, having no positive features. A negative outlook on life. Expressing or consisting of a negation or refusal or denial. Having the quality of something harmful or unpleasant. Ran a negative campaign. Less than 0. A negative number. Reckoned in a direction opposite to that regarded as positive. Negative interest rates. Command against. Mother vetoed the trip to the chocolate store. Vote against. Refuse to endorse. Refuse to assent. The president vetoed the bill. A vote that blocks a decision. The power or right to prohibit or reject a proposed or intended act, especially the power of a chief executive to reject a bill passed by the legislature. The act of excluding someone by a negative vote or veto. Expel from a community or group. Vote against. Refuse to endorse. Refuse to assent. A charming person who is irresponsible in emotional relationships. A narrow defeat or a defeat at the last minute. Loiter about, with no apparent aim. Abrupt up and down motion, as caused by a ship or other conveyance. An unsteady, uneven gait. Move abruptly. The ship suddenly lurched to the left. The act of moving forward suddenly. Defeat by a lurch. Walk as if unable to control one's movements. A decisive defeat in a game, especially in cribbage. Move slowly and unsteadily. The truck lurched down the road. Defeat disastrously. Make a groove in. Cause to flee. Rout out the fighters from their caves. A disorderly crowd of people. Dig with the snout. An overwhelming defeat. A defeat in a game where one side fails to score. The battle on 18 June 1815, in which Prussian and British forces under Blücher and the Duke of Wellington routed the French forces under Napoleon. A final crushing defeat. He met his Waterloo. A town in central Belgium where in 1815 Napoleon met his final defeat. A sound defeat. A sewing stitch passing over an edge diagonally. Smart and fashionable. Some sharp and whipping lines. The act of overcoming or outdoing. Beating with a whip or strap or rope as a form of punishment. Cover up a misdemeanor, fault, or error. Let's not whitewash the crimes of Stalin. A defeat in which the losing person or team fails to score. A specious or deceptive clearing that attempts to gloss over failings and defects. Cover with whitewash. Whitewash walls. Exonerate by means of a perfunctory investigation or through biased presentation of data. Wash consisting of lime and size in water, used for whitening walls and other surfaces. A sound defeat. A sudden and violent collapse. Flooding caused by a tumultuous breakup of ice in a river during the spring or summer. The act of inflicting corporal punishment with repeated blows. A sound defeat. American musteline mammal typically ejecting an intensely malodorous fluid when startled. In some classifications put in a separate subfamily Mephidae. A defeat in a game where one side fails to score. A person who is deemed to be despicable or contemptible. Street names for marijuana. Defeat by a lurch. The savage and excessive killing of many people. Kill a large number of people indiscriminately. Kill animals, usually for food consumption. They slaughtered their only goat to survive the winter. A sound defeat. The killing of animals, as for food. The act of inflicting corporal punishment with repeated blows. A sound defeat. The act of inflicting corporal punishment with repeated blows. A sound defeat.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.